Well, she never saw herself as a celebrity. She never did. She really did not. She was a regular person. She was a business person for sure. And so she carried herself always in a professional manner.
Okay.
I don't think anyone rarely saw her not in heels. That was kind of her trademark.
Okay.
Even though she was, 5'1", 5'2", she wore high heels every day. And but she was very much a community person, very much a family person. Obviously, being my grandmother and being a grandchild. Although I saw her in, her political roles and so forth, and as a business leader, she was very much grandmother, and she loved being a grandmother. And she did for her family, most like any other mother or grandmother would. So holidays, not even holidays, regular days, she would, come home and make dinner. That was her thing. She wanted to be sure that we had home-cooked meal. And so, she would work all day and then make sure that she had time to get to the store if she needed to, or get home and be able to prepare a meal for the family.
What was her signature dish to cook?
Well, she, believe it or not, became a great lover of Cuban food.
Okay.
And that
was addicting.
Yes, and that was primarily because my great-grandfather, her father, worked as a chef on ships that went back and forth from Key West to Cuba. And she was actually born in Key West. And so as my great-grandfather, her father, learned how to cook on these ships, she learned from him. And so she learned how to cook things like black beans and picadillo and these sorts of things that are staples in the Cuban community. They were staples in our home as well because of her father's experience.
Nice.
So she loved to cook. She also loved the water.
Okay.
And so anytime that she had free time, she didn't do a lot of traveling, but one of the places that she loved to go to was Bimini, Bahamas.
Okay, that's right there.
She had some friends, and she never liked planes. She would never get on a plane other than the chalks planes, the seaplanes, believe it or not, that would land in the water there at Bimini. And so obviously that was a very short flight. So I guess she felt comfortable enough doing that. But she didn't get a chance to travel or relax much. She was very much a workaholic. But at times when she would take a break, or my father would encourage her to take a break, she'd take a day or two and go over to Bimini, and or just go out, take her grandchildren down to Key West fishing, or to show them where she grew up and that sort of thing. So so she didn't have a lot of hobbies, but she did enjoy her family and free time spending with the family, and telling them about the family history as well.
Great. Now the last thing I'll ask you is about she was over the Amtrak, Jimmy Carter.
She went on to become the Secretary of the Department of Community Affairs for the state of Florida. So she was the first Black to serve in a little cabinet of the governor of the state here. And after that time, she was appointed to the National Board of Amtrak by President Jimmy Carter. And so she served on that board for a while, and that gave her free passage on trains, for the rest of her life.
She hated planes anyways.
So that worked out wonderfully for her, because she didn't like planes. So she was able to travel thereafter, and she did, more traveling at that point, on the train. And so I can remember as a child going across country on the train. And,
she was a very patient person.
Yeah, to this day I will not ride a train because I just was trained out. From going to New York, which took 3 or 4 days, going to California, which took 5 days on the train, and then coming back. And so I spent my fair share of my childhood travels on a train, and enough. I'll take the plane every day now. So.